We are back for the Masters Tour Arlington round number 7 Swiss bonus coverage with your bonus casters. Being very tropical today, DJ and I have a nice island trip planned right after this broadcast.
Yep.
Where we going, DJ?
We'll be back tomorrow, though, for the finals. But we're going to, I don't know.
Party with the garden gnome tree ants.
Yeah, we're going to sail in the Gulf and go to an island. I don't know. We're in Texas. That's the closest body of water.
The Gulf of Mexico.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, the Gulf. I'm speaking Texas. Texan here? Y'all?
All right, well, I'm going to cancel my trip. Coming up next, though, we got a real fun ride for you all to come along. It's hunterace versus killinallday. Quite possibly the 2 greatest Hearthstone players to ever grace the tablet.
That is right. The best of our decade. Many call them. Actually, I think everybody calls them that. hunterace is going to be playing the Highlander Mage in this game that we're going to jump into, which I believe is game number 4 of their series.
Yes, both players are 5-1. hunterace loves Highlander Mage. It's a pet deck of his. Just being able to play Control Mage style decks, he's a big fan of it. However, I think, you know, a little bit of that passion flickered when Luna's Pocket Galaxy was 5 mana, in which case hunterace was not really that big of a fan of it anymore. But prior to that, I know that he was a big fan of it.
Yeah, and I think overall Highlander Mage is in a good spot right now, both on its strength in the field, but also, you know, all the micro decisions that you have to make to be successful with the deck. It's not just draw Luna's Pocket Galaxy and win, but killinallday.
Yep, he's got the Resurrect Priest featuring
man.
the quest Activate the Obelisk, featuring a new card from the expansion, Grave Rune and Breath of the Infinite. Those are a couple of cards that are very useful for specifically this kind of deck. You use Master Resurrection, you use Zare's Cloning Gallery, and you also resurrect a bunch of stuff. Highlander Mage rather, they don't really play polymorphs anymore. They would have to get it off of Malygos Aspect of Magic. So to disrupt their spawns, you're going to have to do a lot of other tricks and finagle your way into disrupting it. Otherwise, you just have to play a straight-up control deck.
Yeah, it's tough, but Mage just packs so much value that there is certain circumstances where you can outlast. It's pretty rare, but I have been in that position before, and it feels like you can just keep making waves of minions, and Priest can sometimes struggle. But yeah, they don't run directly polymorph anymore, and if you can get an early Malygos Aspect of Magic and get the polymorph, every time that sheep dies, like you polymorph something, sheep dies. They use Master Resurrect, another sheep dies. It adds it to the pool of dead minions. So it kind of compounds on top of each other.
Yes, assuming that you can get it.
Yes.
Both players know each other deck lists. We're following alongside battlefy.com for all the Hearthstone Esports stuff, so make sure you check alongside with us. You know, you're going to see a lot of this passing early game. Against Priest, when I was playing Mage, I actually didn't even really attack face until turn 9. And I had things like, you know, Zephyrus on the board. I had things like Big Ol' Whelp. I even had a Cartoon Defender, and I had all 3 of these. I could have pushed 10 damage or 11 damage, and I chose not to because I had Alex Strauss in the hand, and I just want to, like, really make their lives difficult. So, you know, as much as you might fight for this early game board, let's say hunterace ends up going for this Twilight Drake. He could save the Twilight Drake and go for Mountain Giant instead. But either way, no matter how he kind of layers his threats, I feel like holding in the very beginning is good, because then things don't get as much value. Penance isn't really that strong. Cartoon Defender doesn't really heal. Even if they play a Tempo Ziliax, they're really not going to do much with it. And they really want to play those minions so that they can invest into Resurrect pools and have Psychopomp be a really big MVP. You can see that Killen was also trying to specifically curate his Resurrect list already. Like, he kept convincing Infiltrator but threw away Psychopomp because he was trying to get other cards to also synergize with it. Things like Zare's Cloning Gallery is also very good. So, you know, a lot of small decisions. I wonder how it's going to pan out as the game continues to develop here, TJ.
Yeah, this can be a pretty tough deck to pilot just because you're trying to maximize your efficiency with the Resurrect cards, as you mentioned. Sometimes you won't even play a minion like on curve if you realize that whatever strategy you're playing up against, it's better to res something else. Like Convincing Infiltrator, like versus Ziliax, you know, that kind of thing. Which one are you playing? Like sometimes Ziliax just on an empty board is better because you're playing against an aggro deck. You just want to keep spawning Ziliax over and over again and making sure that your Psycho Pumps can only hit that so you can keep that healing going.
Yep, Hunterace with the cute play, or sorry, killinallday with the cute play. Healing his opponent's life so that he can get the quest done.
Yes.
Activate the Albus reads, restore 15 health, period. You don't actually need to only restore it on your side of the battlefield. Meanwhile, killinallday picks up Plague of Death, quite possibly the strongest single card removal in Hearthstone in terms of answering everything. Silence and destroy all minions. But he's got 2 of them, so his hand's a little bit clunky. Also, something worth noting is that Hunterace had Dragon Caster, but nothing really is synergized with it. If you picked up Luna's Pocket Galaxy, Power of Creation's good too with Dragon Caster as well.
Ready for a show.
Just being able to cast a spell for 0 and get a ton of tempo is real nice. Damaged Stegatron.
Wow.
2 of them.
So that's pretty much the best. We saw one of the best outcomes from a 5-drop Conjurer's Calling earlier in the day with Bloody Face versus IG Civ. And now we're kind of getting to see the other side of that with Power of Creation and 6 drops with the double damage Stegatron.
And a Luna's Pocket Galaxy. If I'm Hunterace, I'm ripping that immediately.
The Convincing Infiltrator does pose a little bit of an issue. Especially knowing that Grave Rune is in the deck. Grave Rune, you target a minion and it gives it Death Rattle, summon 2 copies.
Yeah, that's definitely always in the back corner of your mind. This attack is certainly curious because then that gives value to things like the Sandhoof Water Bearer, but you know, I still think it's totally fine in the end because Hunterace wants to make sure to control the board state a little bit, and you know, you can't heal just naturally with your hero power, but this +5 health restoring on his minion is very nice.
Yeah. Maximum healing once again by healing Hunterace's face. The damage really just doesn't matter. The deck relies on just taking full control of the board and winning via pretty much attrition at the end. Once you can get a minion on board, keep trading and keep buffing it. The hero power ends up becoming like a 6 health swing on a minion because you're giving it maximum health while also healing the damage that is done.
Yeah, we're coming up on that juncture where like both players should be playing some of their most powerful cards here, right? So killinallday had the coin, still has it, had the opportunity previously to play a Xerx's Cloning Gallery on turn 8 and chose not to. So, you know, I wonder in Hunterace's mind if that's something. Oh, no.
Now, you would have to use double Ray of Frost in order to kill this Water Bearer.
Wow, that's pretty unlucky there. I think, I mean, I guess in the end it's still a 1 out of 4, but Hunterace definitely had a very good shot of killing off everything. Instead has to use the first copy of Ray of Frost just to make sure that killinallday can't finish the quest right now. And Killen is still a little bit ways away. He's at 13 or 12, I believe.
12
if he healed with his hero power, he'd be at 14.
I must consider.
Hunterace with Alex Strauss in hand, his goal is just going to be to not really attack killinallday until he gets to the point where he's going to be killing killinallday with the damage that he has on board. But it's going to be hard for him to get even killinallday with the damage that he has on board. But it's going to be hard for him to even get to that point because of how much you know, killinallday is going to keep removing the board, resurrecting these top minions, Bone Wraith, and Convincing Infiltrator.
Yeah, the hard thing, though, and this is kind of an unfortunate thing for killinallday, is that the Reborn doesn't stack. So, Psycho Pump, it gives Reborn to the minion it revives. However, when you revive Bone Wraith, it only summons a single 2/1. It doesn't work the way you would think, which is like, oh, it would like double revive. it doesn't work like that. Things rarely stack in Hearthstone in terms of keywords. You don't get double Divine Shield. You don't get double Wind Fury, unless it specifically says Mega Wind Fury. You don't get double Poisonous. You don't get double Taunt. You don't get double Reborn.
Well, you could get double taunt. We just never know.
I mean, it'd be kind of cool, right? Like, if you double taunt, that means like you have to attack that one before you attack other taunts. So there's like layers of taunt. But you know, it doesn't necessarily make sense intuitively.
Now's the point where hunterace can feel free to start pushing damage. Quest is already complete, so the drawbacks are non-existent anymore.
Yeah, and now every single hero power gives him a ton of value, essentially doubling the stats. And hunterace, if you can find a way to discover polymorph of some kind, you will disrupt that pool eventually, but doesn't seem like he's getting it. He finds Arcane Intellect, which is nice, given that he's played Luna's Pocket Galaxy, so all these things will be really cheap. But, you know, I really like killinallday's position. Card for card, he is going to be very efficient against what hunterace plays.
Yeah, hunterace just has to be careful not to overextend, because as you mentioned, if you go card for card, yes, but if hunterace kind of just gets onto the board just enough every turn and keeps forcing removal out of Killinallday, then maybe with Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, with Kalecgos discovering maybe a power creation. I believe he still has a natural power creation from his deck, since the first one that he played with the Dragon Caster actually came from an Arcane Breath. So still a lot of stuff to get through from Killinallday's perspective. And he's only tested for Mirror Entity at the moment from that Arcane Keysmith with the Cartoon Defender last turn, but he hasn't tested for Counterspell, Spellbender, Splitting Image, any of the Face Secrets, Vaporize, Ice Barrier.
Batterhead is one of the best cleanup tools that you can use. After it attacks and kills something, it can attack again. The only thing is, like you said, you don't know the secret, so Killinallday taking, you know, a little bit slower approach using Zilliax. And this is looking more and more like it's starting to tilt towards Killinallday's favor, but another Arcane Intellect being drawn. You know, as soon as Killin can diffuse all of these Discover spells, he will feel in the clear to go ahead and extend to the board. Malygos finds the Polymorph. That is huge.
Yes.
I would say that you want to use it earlier as opposed to later, but then again, one Psychopomp's been used already. So it's not like there's that many more Resurrect spells. There's 2 Mass Resurrections and there's 1 Psychopomp. hunterace with the Fireball pickup instead. Interesting.
Yeah, so
that is very interesting to me. I think he's looking for ways to potentially close out the game with direct damage. Like say he's able to get Alexstrasza down.
Yeah, if he can get Alexstrasza down and push a significant amount of damage, even with the hero power, Fireball would be able to go through, say, Cartoon Defender to get there.
Yeah, but that's like assuming that Killinallday can't just win back the board right now. So now Batterhead is very strong.
Yeah, he can attack twice, then hero power. Like I said, it gains double the effect, essentially. 6 health, because it heals plus buffs.
Can't kill the Malygos, won't attack into it. hunterace with the new card, the Arcane Artificer?
Amplifier?
Amplifier. It adds 2 damage to your hero power, so it deals 3. I've actually been playing a little bit of that card and replacing one other card in the Highlander deck, and it's performed decently well, like in the sense that sometimes that helps you get extra board presence by hero powering stuff early. Also draws a lot of attention.
The end is coming!
So the Doomsayer Frost Nova play, supposedly, like, you know, should be freezing the board, but Killinallday has Grave Rune.
Do we know what the secret is yet?
We've attacked minions, but not the face, and we haven't played spells. We've just been playing minions and hero powering.
So Grave Runes could end up running into a Spellbender. He does have the coin to test for Counterspell.
Must consider.
I guess if you are going to get the Grave Rune Spellbender, I don't know, because it would, you would be left with 2 1/3s on board, so it wouldn't be clean.
Yep, test for the counter spell, and now Grave Rune will be very effective. This one-of tech card, because you don't really see Grave Rune that often in this list. You usually see Grave Runes in the Gadget Sand Auctioneer Grave Horror combinations. No, Hunter Ace might be in trouble here.
Yeah, Power of Creation is likely to just get eaten up by a single Batterhead alongside the Hero Power.
Yeah, so, you know, I totally get the logic behind the Fireball, which is a lot of times these mages, they can Alexstrasza and push the opponent down to single digits, but they can't really close out. And so using that Fireball as surprise damage makes sense. That being said, I don't think Hunter Ace will get anywhere close to that now. And he finds some decent cards, like 2 Evasive Worms is good, but you just can't really chew through the Batterhead, and it's going to kill both those things.
Yeah, and Eccentric Scribe, again, the Vengeful Scrolls will just get eaten up by the Batterhead.
What to do?
Yeah, and I wonder if for Hunter Ace's side, like, he actually doesn't even attack with these Divine Shield minions, so that the 3/12s can't easily kill it by itself. Xeric's Cloning Gallery.
So he doesn't have that much, that many actual, I guess he still does. He doesn't have Zilliax. But he still has like a Sandhoof Waterberry. He has a Convincing Infiltrator, Psycho Pomp. And I think that's it.
I think Hunter Ace might need Zephyrus to bail him out here soon. Because this is the point of almost no return. He finds Zephyrus off the top of his deck. He has up to 9 mana to spend. I wonder what Zephyrus will offer in a situation like this. I wonder if Zephyrus would even consider giving you something like Mind Control, but I don't know how to manipulate it to do so without just playing all my mana, and by then it might be too late.
He could Elemental Evocation Zephyrus Mind Control.
Okay.
I don't know if that offers.
Oh, that's really interesting, TJ.
And then steal the Batterhead, and that would be a full clear. Yeah.
That would be a board clear, it looks like.
And that's much better than Twisting Nether, because Twisting Nether you're left with nothing, whereas the Mind Control you're still left with a 5/3 that can't be targeted, plus the Batterhead, which would need to take some damage.
Okay, well,
actually, he wouldn't kill the second Batterhead just because it would have 6 attack and he wouldn't be able to ping. So it'll leave Batterhead number 2 up. Maybe he's trying to get Killinallday to overextend, and then he's going to go for a Zephyrus play. But I honestly think Killinallday can just keep this board as is. Just keep hitting.
A lot of times what they end up doing, the Priest in this position, is they just hold serve. So the 3/7 will train to the 5/3. Then you would Hero Power the 3/2 back to 6/5, and you can attack for 12 to the face.
That sets up lethal.
That sets up lethal, and you don't have to do anything else. You could play, you know, Katrina Muerte. Just like extend a little bit further, because, you know, your chances are they're probably going to remove something, but you still don't even have to do that.
Yeah.
And so when you're sitting at a comfortable 24, but you're staring down 2 Batterheads, it's getting real dicey here. Yeah, and I think that could be one of those things where we're not confident. We're not confident about what Zephyrus can read, right? Because I have never attempted to mind control a Batterhead. And Hunter Ace, if he chooses to play Zephyrus into Twisting Nether, he could actually just play Tiamat right after. But is that enough? Is it enough? And I argue no. I don't think that's enough right now, because Xeric's Cloning Gallery and Mass Resurrection and Katrina Muerte are still very scary. You had to play Zephyrus just to kill 2 minions. That's already collected way more value than they should have. Yeah. That being said, if no taunts are set up, which we know that there's more than likely a chance that the taunt comes out because Killen has Xerx's cloning gallery here. Ooh, another taunt minion gone, but if Killen doesn't get taunts, which is unlikely because almost everything he plays will get taunts here, then hunterace does have the Alexstrasza set up for the kill. Still seems kind of like a pipe dream to me, TJ.
Yeah. And I'm curious where this elemental evocation wants to go, right?
Right, he's been holding on to it almost the entire time so far.
Yeah, I would have assumed that he would have just used it there in order to, you know, just throw the Arcane Amplifier onto the board. There's really not many or any elementals left in the deck besides that. Maybe he's using it as some kind of surprise for extra damage. He's trying to find a creative way out of this situation, but I just don't know if that exists right now.
Oh, for sure. hunterace, I mean, speaking of creative, he's, I believe, the only player to not bring Rogue in this lineup. Every other player, I believe, in this tournament has brought Rogue, and yet hunterace is 5-1. So, you know, he's still doing work, as we've come to expect out of Casper, but, you know, he needs to win this game and this series to keep his chances of top 8 still very healthy, because otherwise, if he drops the series, could be in danger of not making it and being bubbled out.
Yeah. He's still coming up on some incredibly powerful turns. He can play Alexstrasza here and
Conjure's Calling.
Conjure's Calling.
I think I like Conjure's Calling a little bit better than Power Creation, only because there's a Batterhead on the field. So if you play Conjure's Calling and you don't get like pretty powerful minions, the Batterhead will just eat everything up.
He could try and go for Hakar, and maybe if he thinks that that's his win condition, right? If he thinks that that's the only way he wins is if he gets lucky with Bloods and dodges his own, he's further into Fatigue.
Okay.
Oh, Karen, but still dies to the Plague of Death, so...
I mean, killinallday, if he doesn't have to Plague of Death, he would rather not because he's setting up lethal, essentially. He's at 8, and he has 3 damage right now.
Yeah, so he can actually clear a lot of this with Batterhead. So if he attacks once and heals, like attacks the Karen and heals, it'll go up to 14 health again, so he can actually chew through every other Karen and Alexstrasza. So he can clear everything but the Caligos with just Batterhead and Hero Power. Beyond that, he can play Katrina Muerte.
Yeah, he'll be able to kill pretty much almost everything, or land a very big attack. But hunterace, him going for the face. Well, he did. Okay, so he did show the Caligos spell. All right, never mind. So if he didn't show the Caligos spell, that would probably spook killinallday to the point where like he's picked up a Caligos spell, and he Alexstrasza me aggressively. Does he have more direct damage to end the game? And Killen's going for another resurrect here. And another taunt. That's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
For hunterace to get through here, and he has Book of Specters. There are some cards in his deck that still might be very useful. Looking at Reno the Relicologist, that might be useful here.
He has a Snip Snap, Stargazer Luna.
Conjure's Calling.
Still has Dragon Queen Alexstrasza as well, so most of the bottom of his deck is...
Gadget's Hand Auctioneer will draw an additional card. Finds Luna, that's not really what he needs. Tortolan Pilgrim. Dragon Queen Alexstrasza comes to the hand. And as you mentioned, TJ,
I think this is just a guaranteed loss, right? Because the Plague of Death...
no, it's not a guaranteed loss. You can always get Nazari.
Oh yeah, Nazari. But outside of... okay, Ember Scale Drake. Outside of any type of healing on the Drake, killinallday had a check with Plague of Death and just 1 point of fatigue, like the double Plague of Death plus 1 point of fatigue.
Right.
We're gonna have some fun.
Well, hunterace definitely understands his deck. But his best hope is for killinallday to not have Plague of Death, and he very much does.
Yeah.
And at this point, hunterace doesn't even have fast enough engine to kill Killinallday before he dies of fatigue.
Yeah, he's currently at 5. He takes 2 next turn. Killinallday can just Plague of Death once again.
The silence and destroy is really brutal. Is there a way for hunterace to bail out with Conjurer's Calling? I don't think so, but it's worth taking a peek.
You're in my
If Rag Lightlord or other equivalents were still in standard, maybe, but doesn't seem likely to be the case here. hunterace is taking 3 guaranteed damage fatigue, and even so, Killinallday has done enough to just wait for the game to end. And Killinallday with the upset over hunterace, going and improving to a 6-1 record.
Some may call it an upset, Dan. Others would call it a guaranteed victory.
It certainly feels that way when your opponent's playing Quest Priest and you know, they're able to land those powerful minions. Plague of Death comes down, and you know, to hunterace's credit, even though he drops this, how many resurrects did we see? I mean, we saw 3 resurrects with Mass Resurrect and 1 Psycho Pump and a Katrina Muerte.
Yes.
At any juncture, would that have finished anything? Would that have affected the Resurrect pool to just get that Polymorph there, you think, enough to help turn the tides?
I honestly think so, if only to just kind of stop like the Batterhead, right? He even had an opportunity turn where I think he just froze Batterheads. He could have polymorphed and actually killed that one big Batterhead that ended up dealing a lot of damage.
That ended up cleaning up like half his hand.
Yeah, so the Fireball was used for 2 damage to kill a Katrina Muerte on a board that he was almost certain would get Plague of Death. So
It's true.
That's a tough one. And at the end of that game, hunterace had no cards left. He used every single card he had, and Killinallday was still at 21. So the War of Attrition ended up being super real there, because you know Killinallday had a plethora of removal spells still left at the end. Kind of crazy to see.
Sure, definitely worth talking to him about, and looks like he's hunterace is a little sad. He was like sinking into his chair and looking a little sad, and I think it's because not just the fact about top 8 placements, but it's the fact that because he hates losing so much is why this kid is so good. Even a single best of 5 defeat, even if he was undefeated, would have made him upset.
Yeah.
And that's the attitude of a champion, why he is very much worthy to be the 2019 HCT World Champion. But that's not over yet for hunterace and all the people who are 5 and 2. We are going to prepare for round number 8 of Swiss, which will be the deciding moment for some of these players. Who is going to the top 8? Who will be eliminated? We'll find out when we return to the Masters Tour Arlington, presented by T-Mobile.
Hearthstone Masters Tour Arlington is brought to you by T-Mobile. Rank up with America's first and only nationwide 5G network.